I got wifey here next to me, got my guy K-Mac, and then a special guest today. The guy's a complete dog. We call him the Romanian Nightmare, Andrei Daescu.
Oh, wow. That's quite an intro, Tyson. I appreciate
Da. Oh, man. Come on. I was Andrei's right side devil, playing about 20% of the court all day long. It just so happened that in that finals match, Andrei, you were in full body cramps, correct?
I was in really bad cramps, and because of the cold, I was shivering as well, so it wasn't getting any better there. It was downhill in a hurry. I warmed up with like one of those ski jackets on, and I was fine, but it wasn't going too well.
Just what dogs do.
Well, we're down 11-3.
No way.
Yeah. We were down 3-11?
That sounds right.
That was a memory that I will always have with you. Late night, getting after it. Boys found a way. What's going on? My name is Tyson McGuffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. It's a lovely day here in Coeur. It's just been dumping snow the last, week or so?
Yeah.
Temperature has been
like
10 degrees. Every time I've been leaving the house, I've been starting the Escalade like 30 minutes early. Warming that puppy up, you know what I mean? I got wifey here next to me. Got my guy K-Mac. And then a special guest today. This guy played for the Oklahoma Sooners. Stud tennis player, husband and father of two. He's been playing professional pickleball since 2017. He's currently top 10 on the PPA Tour in men's and mixed. One of the nicest guys I know. And one of the more mentally tough male players on tour. The guy's a complete dog. We call him the Romanian Nightmare, Andrei Daescu.
Woo.
Oh, wow. That's quite an intro, Tyson. I'll wire you some cash after this.
Oh, man. Come on. First thing I'm going to bring up, Andrei, is you and I, Punta Gorda. Was this 2018?
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Vintage.
Night match. We were both sponsored by Selkirk at that time. You had
about
played
28 degrees outside.
It was
now.
It was like January in Punta Gorda at you know what's so funny is that I used to call that place the Punaplex.
I know, so bad.
It's not called the Punaplex. It's called the Pickleplex.
Pickleplex.
Close enough, though. Close enough.
K-Mac likes that one.
Nice.
Puna what? and pretty sure for that tournament, K-Mac, was that the year that you and I were training down there?
Yeah, I think it was because they had the Worlds or the Invitational, I think right before the other tournament. So we were down there for a while.
Oh, yeah. Anyhow, so Andrei and I was Andrei's right side devil, playing about 20% of the court all day long. And it just so happened that in that finals match, it was super cold out. And Andrei, you were in full body cramps, correct? Or your legs?
I was in really bad cramps, and because of the cold, I was shivering as well, so it wasn't getting any better there.
Oh.
It was
Right.
downhill in a hurry.
So
I warmed up with like one of those ski jackets on, and I was fine, but it wasn't going too well.
And then, Andrei, give me your buddy's name that is such a stud. He tends to kind of follow you around a little bit and watch you play.
Yeah, my man Ken. He's been along with me from the
Ken Dog.
Yeah.
Ken Dog's a ride or die, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyhow, Kenny had like a trailer there, so Andrei was hanging out in the trailer. And then when it comes to our match, Andrei and I get warmed up for, 5 or 10 minutes. It's freezing outside. And Andrei, tell me, did we win all the way through, or did we have to beat those guys best 2 out of 3 and then gain to 15?
No, we had to beat him best of 3, and then we had to beat him the game to 15. But I think we lost to Pat and Jay, if I remember correctly.
Got it. Just what dogs do. Anyhow, so it was the one time where Andrei put me on the left. He told me to take over because he was having a hard time moving. So I did my duty over there. We won the 2 out of 3. We're playing Adam Stone and Steve Deacon.
Yeah. The Canadian legend.
The Canadian legend, man. And what was that score to? What was the score to the game of 15? I thought it was tight.
No, it was not tight, Tyson.
It wasn't tight.
Your memory doesn't serve you too well. We're down 11-3.
Oh my
No
God.
way.
Yeah. We were down 11-3, and I think we're down 13-11. That's when he got tied at 13-11.
We always find a way, though. We always find a way. We were down 3-11?
That's crazy.
3-11.
That sounds right.
We took him out in that best of 3.
Yeah.
Playing pretty well, and then they just came out firing, and 11-3 they were up, and it wasn't looking too pretty for us.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I remember.
It wasn't getting any warmer either.
It was not getting it. And there was about 20 people there watching at around like 11 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Anybody who brought their jackets.
10 of them were suffering from hypothermia, too.
Yeah, right.
Right, exactly.
Sue and Mac were there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I was
Always,
there.
always,
I was in the
always.
stands.
Yeah,
saying
sorry,
goodbye.
K-Mac was there. That's all that matters. But I remember at like 13 all, maybe it was 14 all, but I had no business hitting this. I hit like a backhand poke off the bounce, in which I never do. And I poked it up Adam's line. Adam was like frozen because he's never seen me hit that. And somehow it ended up going in. And anyhow, that was a memory that I will always have with you. Late night, getting after it, boys stoned away. So something I was going to mention is that on this podcast, there is 10 children combined here. K-Mac. K-Mac has four,
Yep,
correct,
yep.
K-Mac? Okay, we have 4. Andre needs 2 more, but Andre has 2.
I'm catching up with you guys. It's Valentine's Day weekend, you know. We got to get to work. We got 2 more to knock. So,
Hey, and then my next question is, who got some bedroom cardio in last night for Valentine's Day? Who got it in?
I don't know. I mean, K-Mac looks really tired.
Yeah.
He does.
A little sleepy, back into the
K-Mac
eyes.
brought his A game.
No comment.
K-Mac's not a morning guy, you know?
K-Mac was a marathon man, looks like.
Built for 5 games.
Oh, yeah. What was that sign say? 5 sets.
It was a
5
championship
sets.
Saturday final, baby. Best of 5.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
18-16 in the 5th.
Yeah, right. Do you guys have any fun stories from Valentine's Day, or hang out with your family, or any of that jazz? Don't all go at once.
Low-key kind of day here. My nephew who lives with us was in a high school play, so we went and checked that out and just had a little breakfast date. But just nice little day. I'll leave the rest of the activities out of it, but good day.
Love that.
Low key for me as well. Just got some flowers for the girls, obviously. 2 daughters and my wife. Got some chocolate. Got a bottle of champagne.
Boom.
Had a nice chill day at home. Practiced a little bit in the morning. Worked out in the afternoon. Got home. Spent some time with the kids. Put them to bed, and then
Andre, tell me, how do you do it with 2 girls? Because I have 1, and she kicks my ass. I told Meg, if I had any more, my whole career would be over.
The girls are the best, man, because they just get away with everything, you know.
They
I'm
do.
such a pushover, you know. They just come over to me, smile. They learn the game. They come give me a hug. And they get away with everything they want, you know. If I had a boy, it would be completely different. I'll be like, get out of here. What are you doing? I just can't hold it together, you know. I'm such a pushover. So, I just roll with the punches and let it do whatever they want.
Right.
Sounds very familiar.
I'm just a yes guy when it comes to her, but like a total no guy when it comes to my boys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was going to say what we do for Valentine's Day. We did like a little, actually brought our kids with us, which was, it was okay. No, I was kidding. No, we did a little staycation at the Coeur d'Alene Resort.
Nice.
We love going there. They do a thing called Hot Winter Nights, and basically out at the golf course, they have this huge infinity pool during the summer that members go out to, and in the wintertime, they turn the whole infinity pool into a hot tub. So it's nice and hot, and they throw some like igloos out there, and so the snow's coming down. Take a little shuttle out there, get there, like throw the kids in the hot tub and this massive pool, and you're looking out over the lake, so it's kind of cool. And then you got your little igloo that you can.
Max doing backflips
oh,
the
yeah.
whole time,
Yeah.
being a freaking maniac.
Being a maniac. Oh, he's totally.
The guy's got an on switch that always stays on.
Throwing that body around.
No,
It's just it is fucking endless.
Yeah, we're trying to rein it in. So this week, actually, he's gonna start jujitsu.
He is.
Yeah, so him and
Some
Banks.
self-discipline.
So hopefully I'll calm down a little. It might make it worse. I don't really know.
I don't know. Tyson was bragging about an early Valentine's Day in Australia, if I heard it right on the.
Right.
It's all, every day is Valentine's Day.
It's always Valentine's Day here. Bring my best effort morning and night, right? Okay, off of that talk. Let's see here. Some things we're going to talk about today is what kind of took place in Tucson. Talk about men's singles, women's dubs, kind of all the events. But first off, wanted to ask Dre here what he thought about the venue, his time there in beautiful Tucson. I used to think that Tucson was like the armpit of Arizona, if you know what I mean. I personally have not been there for, I don't know, 10 years or so. When I was playing junior college tennis for Scottsdale, our team went to ASU a couple times, or not went to ASU, sorry, went to University of Arizona a couple times and went to Tucson. But Dre, tell me about what you thought about Tucson, the venue, and it seemed like the ball was playing faster. Don't know if that's elevation or it was just the temperature.
First time in Tucson for me. Driving in from Phoenix, flew into Phoenix, drove there. Yeah, driving into town, definitely a little sketch. I was like, man, it's a nice town.
Where are we at?
Yeah. But we got on the right roads, got to the country club road, got to the venue. I thought the venue was kind of cool. Has a little headlook or everything, you know. A lot of pickleball courts, so everything was moving on pretty fast. Beautiful view with the mountains in the background over there, and just a lot of fans. You know, I was really impressed with how much traction they had over there, considering this is the first time the tour was in Tucson, I think. And yeah, just pleasant surprise. Fans were super interactive, always packed on center court, and the side courts are pretty packed as well. So overall, a great opinion about Tucson. You definitely got to be in the right area. So
you're right.
Yeah, got the right hotel over there.
Got to be in the right spot. And then,
exactly.
Hey, tell me,
you need to know your way around there. You need the local knowledge. But now went to a steakhouse over there that was really good. Just a nice place overall for sure.
Love it. And tell me, what's your favorite type of steak? Are you a ribeye guy? Are you a fillet?
T-bone, baby.
T-bone to the face.
Medium rare.
Medium rare,
okay.
T-bone. Yeah,
right.
Perfect.
I was gonna say if it's anything more than medium rare,
it's not a steak.
Get the fuck off of this podcast.
No. But you know, and I like my steak with fries, as you know, Tyson, and I got you into some local European knowledge, some of those fries with some mayonnaise.
Hey, that's right, baby.
So good.
That's all we know now. Hey, tell that story, please.
Oh man, we were in Punta Gorda with Sue and Mac. I think either you or them, one of you guys were barbecuing and made some delicious steaks, and we got some fries. And I asked Mac to bring out the mayonnaise, and he gave me the look like I was from a different planet. I'm like, hey, just hold on here, just try it out a little bit, you know. Don't judge me before you try it out. And you had a couple of fries with mayonnaise, and then I was like, man, this guy's unstoppable. He just couldn't stop. I wasn't sure if you're gonna eat your steak anymore now.
Oh, but yeah, it's so funny.
It's so
Both
good.
Meg and I now.
Oh yeah.
Most times that we have fries or we have potatoes.
Yeah.
We usually dip it in mayo.
It was perfect because growing up, my family always dipped like cooked veggies in mayo. So like broccoli or artichokes or whatever was always in mayo, but never tried potatoes for some reason. So it was perfect.
Potatoes.
Perfect fit.
Hey, Dre, tell me, was there elevation? It seemed.
Yeah, I remember checking before I went there. I think it was 2,700 feet or something like that.
So definitely not.
I
like
think
a
that's
Brigham
about 1,000
City,
feet higher than
right.
the Scottsdale, Phoenix area.
Right.
Didn't really feel like it. I practiced a couple of days in Phoenix before I went to Tucson. I didn't think it was a big difference in the ball flight or anything else.
Yeah.
One thing I felt that was a little different. I thought it was harder to get the ball to dip.
Got it.
But it was definitely traveling fast. But like I said, not much faster than Phoenix. But I did feel like it was hard to get the ball to dip, you know, and get some rotation on that ball. That was my take on it.
Got it. K-Mac, tell me this. Give me your thoughts on Andrei's game, and obviously you know his game very well. But if you watched any of his matches this last weekend as well, whether it was mixed, his tight three gamer him and Tina had against AL and Ben, or his nice little run with Christian and taking out Ben and Hayden in three, and then beating up on Tardio and JW.
Yeah, I think you already introduced him the correct way, which is probably the most mentally tough guy in pickleball, or very, very close to it. I think that Andrei knows his game really well. he has a very high pickleball IQ, and he can make those little adjustments, as needed. So I think he plays within himself. Obviously, he can grind the backhand dink all day long. He uses his length, so he doesn't have to overcreate. But he's added in the two-hander to where he has offense off the bounce on that side as well. And, I think the versatility and the ability to play with different styles, if you look at like his results last year and now this year, he's won a couple titles with Gabe, who plays that strong right side. Now won another one with Christian, who plays the strong right side. I thought it was really smart when they beat the Johns brothers, how often when they were returning to Andrei, he would just drive and Christian would fully disconnect. You see a lot of matches where Andrei's dropping almost every time to get forward, but they recognized that was the game to apply more pressure. So I just think he knows the game really well. He knows himself really well, plays within himself. It doesn't matter if he's up, 8-0 or down 8-0. Just experience, understands that it's a game of runs, fights like a dog to the very end, and you see what that can do for results, against anybody. So, very high on Andrei's game right now.
And Andrei, tell me, you are 36 or 37?
I'm going to be 37 in about a week and a half, February 28th.
Playing the best pickleball of his life, almost
sure.
37 years old. Gotta love it.
For sure.
And tell me, what you think the difference is in your game with playing with that new, what is the new Proton carbon fiber little flamingo paddle that just got pushed out? What's it called? Sorry.
The flamingo paddle.
Oh, there we go.
Flamingo paddle. They came out with it early January. Started using it at the Masters at Indian Wells. Click right away with the paddle for sure. It's a really, really good paddle. I feel like it definitely gives me a little bit more pop, and I still have plenty of spin like I've been having all along with the Proton paddle. So feeling really comfortable with the paddle. Took me just a little bit of time to get adjusted to the shape. It's that elongated shape. I used to play a lot more with a square shape, but I'm definitely liking the elongated. I feel like I get a little more reach at the kitchen line.
Thanks for that love.
And it's not putting any limitations on my game, so I feel like I can hit pretty much any kind of shot with that paddle. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, and I think to kind of go off of what K-Mac said, I think all those things, but like especially like the hands, that I feel like your hands have gotten much heavier. Like the transition from backhand to forehand volley, like when you're on the left, when you speed with like the backhand poke out of the air, if they do counter and find your forehand, like you were quick to get there. Seems like the elbow's nice and lodged. And I don't know, I saw you hit this a couple times. Tell me how you actually hit this. You'll get jammed in like this dead space area, and I don't know what way the paddle goes, but somehow you find a way to get the mother effer down. And anyhow, that's a tough skill set that I don't have. I tend to kind of overswing on the forehand. I'm like really trying to work on lodging that elbow in, but I just feel like, you hit that one super well. And then, I think like you're getting a lot more shape and power off the drive. Christian played a great role of using that little backhand poke off of your drive, but it just seems like the hands are heavier. You're getting more on the drive, more on the serve. And, man, you're looking freaking sharp. I'll tell you.
So Andrei, I have a question for you. So kind of with the trend of the game, the right side player taking more in the middle, we're seeing that, Gabe, Christian, you've obviously been, most comfortable on the left and done really well there. How do you think, you've done with adjusting to playing, with guys that want to take a little bit more middle from the right? Was that tough for you? And then do you see that being, a challenge for Gabe and Ben, who hasn't really seen that, in a right side player, going forward?
Great question.
It's definitely, it was an adjustment for me to make. I was used to taking a lot of forehands in the middle, and the beauty of taking that forehand dink in the middle is you kind of control the angles, and you know where to position yourself for the next shot. When somebody steps in front of you, they're backing and hits that shot, and you're kind of a little bit off rhythm, not really knowing where the next one is going to go. So it took a little bit of adjustment, but I think it's really important that right person gets in there with the back, and then especially takes them out of the air. This way you make that feel nice and narrow, and you're putting a lot of pressure on the dinks. In the past, it used to be that you get that ball to the middle, back, and left foot of the player on the right, it was a pretty safe spot. And like you said, the game has evolved, and now it's not the safest spot anymore. You know, guys can reach in there and flick their backhands, guys can reach in there and dink. Really good spots from that area, which is not easy to do. So I've learned to make that adjustment because it's definitely in the best interest of the team. And Christian doing a great job with that. Gabe was doing very good with that as well. In terms of how that's going to affect Ben and Gabe, I don't know. I mean, they spend a lot of time now practicing together. They're obviously two super talented, really good players.
And hey, Dre,
it's interesting to see that dynamic because Gabe likes to take a lot of backhands over there, and then obviously Ben likes to impose his will with the forehand. So we'll see. It was a little more strong-willed on that one.
Dre, tell me this. Did I hear that Benny moved to Boca?
Yeah, Ben moved to Boca.
Who isn't in Boca, for God's sakes?
I mean, it's South Florida, guys. You just mentioned you get out of the house and it's 10 degrees. I mean, I got out of the house this morning, it's 75. Birds are singing.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. He's rubbing it
in. Get back to bedroom cardio.
Put your shades on, put the flip-flops on. You know,
it's easy.
You know that feeling. 6 weeks of summer.
Oh yeah, South Florida, baby. Right?
We need a second place.
Thongs are out.
Head over.
Love it. And hey, tell me, you always play Ben tight. You don't have to give us the secret recipe, but is there any I don't know, common things that you like to impose anytime that you were playing that legend?
I don't always play Ben. I mean, I've had some whoopings from Ben as well. But look, recently we play pretty tight. I don't think there's any special recipe. You obviously have to be super solid against Ben. You can't give him any easy errors. He's got to make you pay for every single thing every single opportunity that he gets. So I think it's important to stay solid. I think it's important to keep the ball in the right places. Yeah. And luckily for me, I've been playing well recently and been doing a good job just moving the ball around and not giving him the looks that he wants. And we played each other pretty close. I don't think there's any. The guy obviously doesn't have weaknesses. It's not like you can find a spot and just keep the ball there.
I feel like you're doing a good job of differentiating the backhand dink. Like you're rolling some with two, you're slicing some, and
I've been working a lot on that for sure. I've been trying to get a little more versatile. I've been trying to use my two-hander off the bounce because it gives me the opportunity to attack a little bit more. And I've been working a lot on the one-hander roll out of the air as well. And it was in pretty rough shape at the end of last year, but I feel like it's getting better.
Good. Yeah, no, I think your little backhand poke. I mean, you used that time and time again against Hayden. Used it time and time again against Tardio, and just your ability to be obviously. I mean, you're what 6'4", 6'5"?
6'4".
6'4". I mean, like your ability to use your length and lean in there, and get overextended and poke, and then be ready for the next one is pretty stinking good.
I have to because when that ball gets down, it's a long way to reach down for that ball.
Reach it in that cookie jar.
And with that two-handed roll, it seems like we've seen a few guys that have added that in, where they're doing something similar to you, Andre, where it's not like you have to roll every one. It's not like you have to throw away the slice, and roll every single ball. But just adding that in, it seems like if you need to take a little more risk, roll one to just kind of get ahead in that pattern. Then it gives you options from there. So I think we're seeing that trend where guys are adding it in. Maybe it's not as confident as a one-handed slice, but pick and choose your moments to go for it. That way you can push back a little bit.
100%. I think it's important to have both the backspin and the topspin. So, it's situational, obviously tactical as well, depending who you're playing against. But, look, having both, it's a luxury for sure, and I'll continue to develop it.
It is a luxury. Teach me how, please. Okay, let's see. Men's singles here. Fed loses to Tom Evans. Not gonna lie, memes of pickleball. 8 Feddy up, and I hate seeing that because I love that man.
Feddy's a nice guy.
Feddy is about as good as they come, man.
It feels like
as long as he's not beating me on the golf course, then he's a friend.
No, I was gonna say it seems like memes. I mean, obviously, anytime someone makes a transition, right?
God, they're on
it.
They're on it right away.
Yeah. So I mean,
Suckers.
I think a lot of people who have made a paddle transition and things don't work out right away, I feel like they jump right on that.
Drop the hammer.
It's like it's coming. I don't know. Fed 2 is just such a mentally tough guy. I don't think that stuff gets to him. To be honest, I think he's He can take a joke as good as someone else, and he doesn't let it bother him. But good on him for that. But yeah, they definitely swooped right in as fast as they could.
And he will find it here very soon. Obviously, just making a new paddle change takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. Alshon makes a final. Alshon looked good. Obviously, made 3 finals. Won with Andrei, lost in mix, and then lost to Hunter. And not gonna lie too, Christian with that new paddle tech, he's been playing with his signature for how long now? Maybe 6 months, a year, something like that.
Year, yeah.
Yep, a little over a year, I think.
But talk about a guy who's just hitting the living shit out of the serve and thumping drives, right? And his close or his little, bake off of your shake, off of the driving crash. Even when he was out and extended and hitting a little poking backhand volley on his edge, he was still getting plenty of pop. And talk about a guy too who probably has one of the quicker first steps, whether it's laterally or it's springing forward. You know what I mean?
Definitely. He spends a lot of time working on his body. He spends a lot of time working on his game. So for guys like that, it's always nice to see the hard work pay off.
Tell me, does he spend time in the bedroom?
Well, I'm not sure. How do you...
Doesn't ask.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I appreciate a vote of confidence.
All right, and then DF, Mr. Frazier, also hanging out in Boca and living with Pablo, right?
That's correct.
You got the bandana boys.
And he's got a new paddle in his hand.
He wasn't using that 008, and look what happened. He made a pretty good run in singles. I'll tell you what. And the old pink Magnus. You know what Magnus stands for? The most skilled gladiator in the arena, baby.
Yeah, it is.
And best in the bedroom.
Stop. Get off.
But hey, Dylan and Pablo. Dylan and Pablo at Masters lost to
Hunter and
Hunter and Julian. And then this last weekend, did they lose to
Rafa and Noe?
Yeah, for God's sakes, Rafa and Noe. Yes. But in mixed, him and is it Maggie? No, sorry, him and Fahey, correct?
Yeah.
Made semis.
They got the bronze, yeah. They won the bronze medal against J-Don and Maggie.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So, nice little run in mix. And then had a nice little run in singles as well. Lost in the semis to Hunter. And then, don't know if you watched that bronze medal match against Jack, but beat Jack 11-9 in the third. So it just seemed like taking a look with Dylan, him using that new 3S Magnus, he was getting more on the serve, more on the drive, and just seemed like he was able to kind of dictate with some more power. I thought Sock looked super sharp in singles. He made a nice little run. Beat who? Jame came back. Who else? Jame.
Who did he get?
But beat Jame in 2 or 3, and then I know in men's, him and Roddy have no business beating Kwong and James. Somehow that happened.
Yeah, tough match to watch. They ran away with it in the second game. I think it was the first time James and Kwong have played together, and just definitely didn't seem like they were on the same page. And it's kind of crazy to think how big momentum is, because Roddy and Sock beat James and Kwong, and then the next round they play Zane and Deckel. And I think they started that one down 11-0, 4-0. So it's just nuts how much it can change from match to match.
Men's doubles is such a freaking toss-up, man. I mean, geez, there's so many teams that can win, right?
For sure.
Nuts.
The depth is incredible.
Yeah, it's so incredible, for sure. Hunter's back on top, look good. Hunter is probably the only guy in singles right now with that lively paddle tech paddle that can stay back and just, create a highlight reel off his back foot and pass for days. Don't know how, but the guy can do it, man. Hunter's looking good, and his little honey Paris also got the golden singles. Women's dub, we had Kath and AL truly just make a statement and roll in the finals. The scores were 0, 2, and 4, and that I believe that match was done in about 40 minutes. Short and sweet. K-Mac, did you watch it?
Yeah. On ESPN too, it was hyped up. This is seen as the best rivalry right now in pickleball. Obviously, I'm pulling for Rachel on my DC team, and yeah, they just got
The girlies.
absolutely run over when AL and Catherine play like that. It was just so tough to slow them down. Definitely the hands for both Anna and Rachel seemed just a little bit slow, and I guess that just is all it takes on a given day. If you're just not seeing the ball super well with that kind of pace, that kind of tempo, it's just too good.
Well, and K-Mac, tell me this. Did AL primarily just play left in
She
that
started
match?
that way, and I don't believe they changed much with, obviously, the score line. Why change it up when it's working that well? But yeah, they started her on the left.
K-Mac, tell me, why is AL so... I mean, I feel like she's more dangerous on the left than she is the right, but why do you think so as well?
Yeah, I mean, I know that she sometimes likes the right because she likes her backhand in the middle, but I still think you get a little bit more reach to the side on the forehand. It's obviously she's got an amazing forehand as well, but I think that a lot of times when you throw that ball, dink that ball over to the backhand side of the left side player, sometimes that can be a safer zone, or you're kind of daring your opponent to create offense. But for her, it's so natural to create offense there, whether she attacks it, whether she rolls it back. It's just really hard to not let her get ahead in the point when you throw the ball over there. So if the middle's closed and the left side's closed, where else can you go? And she can just squeeze the court so well, in my opinion, on both sides, but specifically on the left.
For sure. Let's see here. And then in women's singles, no AL. Paris wins her first singles title, and I don't know how long. Or maybe that was her first on the PPA Tour.
No.
I thought she won a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think, I'm pretty sure she's won a couple.
But Paris, not going to lie, with that new Franklin paddle, whether it's Paris or it's Hayden, that thing sounds like a rocket launcher, and it is coming off very, very hot. Andrei, you obviously practice with Hayden. What's the difference that you have seen in Franklin's old tech compared to this new sword that they put out?
No, like you said, it sounds different,
It definitely sounds different.
Yeah, and they definitely got a lot more pops, so the counter punch comes back in a hurry at you. So you really got to pick and choose when you're going to attack those guys because the hands are heavy.
The hands.
Same thing with the drives. I think the drives are bigger. Just
Right.
a lot more power overall, for sure. Yeah, it's not just the sound, but the power is quite different as well. A lot more power than you want.
Right. Do you think Hayden has gotten comfortable with that paddle yet, or are you still kind of working out the kinks?
I think Hayden's got such great feel, such good hands.
Right.
I think he was comfortable with that paddle day too. He could do everything off the bounce, out of the air. One hand, two hand on the back, and controls the speed of the ball really well. So
Hayden's a stud,
I
man.
definitely think he's got.
I mean,
think he's definitely accustomed with a paddle, but it's probably a better question to ask him.
For sure. No, it seems like there's zero holes in Hayden's game at the moment.
Yeah.
Are there any top pros who are getting it done, getting wins with softer paddles that you guys know of these days? I mean, it seems like everyone's going to that now, right?
What about Tardio's paddle? Is that?
I mean, Tardio is probably
I
one
mean,
of the only
Generate his
ones.
own pace, no
feel
problem.
like, and Jack probably. I mean, for how long? I don't know. He's with the Selkirk, right?
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
playing with the 08.
Yeah, with and before that,
The Power Air.
Power Air.
Yeah.
So that didn't have too much.
Yeah. So Dre, you were telling me that Tardio's paddle. Is it called Pickle?
Yeah, pickle. Yeah.
Pickle, right? You were telling me that it's a little softer, but it gets a bunch of spin.
I mean, I tried it. I think it was last year in Vegas. So what is it, 4 or 5 months ago? And yeah, I mean, the spin I thought it was very, very good. Not the most powerful paddle out there.
Yeah.
Gabe's got very heavy hands, very fast hands as well. So he's able to make it work, and he's using that grit that he's got, to his advantage. He can spin it very well. He can put that ball into some really tough spots for you at the kitchen line, and his flicks are obviously off the charts good. So he's making it work. But in terms of pump, I thought it was a little bit less than the average paddle.
For sure. But K-Mac, you were spot on. There's not a lot of top players that are using something soft at the moment. That's for sure. Okay, mixed doubles. We had Andrei and Tina played Ben and AL nice and tight. You guys lost 11-8 in the third. Is that accurate, Andrei?
Thanks for reminding me.
I know. Sorry. Dre, tell me, how did that third game go?
It was a roller coaster of a third game. They started very well, especially Annalise. She she's a fierce competitor. She came out firing. She was making ridiculously good shots. She was competing really hard. So I think we went down 7-0, something like that. We went in a big hole there. But then we made a run, I think on serve like 6 points in a row, something like that, brought it back to 7-6, so we got tied again. And then we had a lot of points that went back and forth. Got to 8-7 for them, I think it was, then 9-8. We had 3 or 4 serves at 8-9. Didn't really create much over there. I missed a third drive in the net, and I wish I had that one back, to kind of do a little bit better with. But they're so tough under pressure. They're so tough at the end of games. They really didn't give us anything, and they play really well, closed it well. And look, I watched that tape a few times. Got some good positive feedback from it.
Yeah,
and,
good.
Did a little homework on it and ready for the next one.
It's funny how that works. I can't tell you how many 3-gamers I've played where I've played well, like, I don't know, 95% of the time. But all I can worry about, or all I think about, is like the dink that I missed at 8-all in the third, or like the drop that I missed at 9-all. I mean, it's just funny how that works. And I've beat myself up time and time again over just nonsense like that, where you should really be looking at like the bigger picture, watching the match.
I think you got to let it sting for a little bit, right? Just, I don't know, just knowing you. And I think anybody that's
there's plenty of
competing at a high level, but usually by day 2 or day 3, then you start looking at the bigger picture.
Right.
So, Andrei, have you played much with Tina prior to that? And what are your thoughts on her game in general?
So we've obviously played Daytona in December. Made a run to the finals there. She lives in Florida, but she lives in Tampa, which is about 4 hours away from where I'm at. So we don't really get to practice together much. We obviously practice together in tournaments a lot. We've been playing quite a bit together. I think the partnership continues to get better. I think our energy is very similar. She's a fierce competitor. She's fiery as well, which I really like. She plays really well under pressure. She comes up with great saves. She's always looking to improve her game. She's adding things to her game. So I'm really looking forward. We're going to play a bunch of events together this first half of the year, maybe beyond that as well. And really looking forward to that partnership. I like her game. Looks very steady. You know what you're going to get from her, which is kind of what I like in mixed. I think a lot of the guys like that kind of stuff, She definitely does a great job of bailing me out when I do stupid stuff around the kitchen line. And that goes a long way because it frees me up to test the waters a little bit and attack to some spots where, maybe otherwise I wouldn't go to. So, I think very highly of her game, and I look forward to competing with her. We're playing together next week with Mesa and beyond that as well.
And Andrei, Tina's, she's pushing, is she pushing 40?
26. Now she's 43 years old.
43.
But she's obviously had a stellar tennis career. I think she's number 1 in the world in juniors. She was top 50 in the world in singles and doubles in the pros.
Right.
It's crazy.
Look, she's an absolute legend of a competitor.
She is.
Yeah.
Great athlete. She knows everything about competing and athletics in general. So, it's great to be sharing the court with her.
By far one of the nicest females too. What were you gonna say?
No, for sure. It sounds like, I think wasn't her parents were athletes too. Soccer or something. Yeah. And then obviously, played tennis at a really high level. It was in an unfortunate car accident, which kind of stopped that, but has been teaching high level tennis ever since then. And it just seems like her IQ just in very general, like even just coming into pickle and not being in it for very long, she's like picking up really fast everything. And she's got such a good personality. I was watching that little shout out to her on the highlight point. I don't know if you guys saw that where it was a
that little flea flicker.
Yeah. Come on. Like that women's point was silly. And I love how she like brushed her shoulder off and
got a little swag behind it.
She got a little smile. Oh,
that's it for me.
Oh, it was so good.
I totally forgot about that.
And there was like a big smile from, was it Tyra who she was playing against?
I think so.
So you can see Tyra on camera, and she just couldn't help but crack a big smile too. So it was a great point.
Yeah, Tina's about as solid as they come, man. Doesn't miss drops, doesn't miss dinks, loves the slice. Her little backhand slice drop that she likes to kind of purposely drop at line at the guy. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to speed up on a fourth as she's coming forward off of that hybrid drop, and the drop is always driving through me. It just seems like everything she hits with slice is very linear and very, very pushing. And like the hands have gotten better. She's starting to take the forehand speed up out of the air, and she can go line with it. She can also like lob cross. And then it seems like in women's too, she's getting more comfortable playing the left. So no, she's a gamer.
A force to be reckoned with.
She's a gamer. Ben and AL steamroll Christian and Tyra in the finals. That was kind of tough to watch. After Christian and Tyra had, 4 match points, maybe more at Masters. They're up 10-6, game 3. I thought it was going to be a little closer. I was talking to Tyra in Australia, and in the Pro Lounge, I just told her that that was like the best I've seen her play, and that it broke my heart that they didn't get that done. And she's like, "Well, hey, thanks for bringing it up." And she's like, "Yeah, I just hope that I can bring that level again, when I play that team." But
I feel like Tyra, speaking of that too, I feel like she has such a good attitude when it comes to. She was very clear that she doesn't want pickleball to be like tennis. She was a really high level tennis player, right? She was like top 300 or top, I don't know, but in juniors even higher than that. Right. And so it just seems like she's really cautious about protecting the ability to enjoy her pickleball journey. So obviously wants to be a super fierce competitor and improve and win and that sort of thing. But that to her is like, and I think, that's obviously why she doesn't play singles much, if at all anymore. And it started to remind her, I think, a little bit more of tennis. And so, but yeah, she's got a really good attitude. And even when you were bringing up that match, like
she was laughing about it. Yeah.
She was laughing about it, and she was like, yeah, for sure. Like, come back next time, but we have the ability and that sort of thing. But
yeah, and I mean, like I was saying, on the men's side, I think Christian has the fastest first step. On the female side, it's definitely Tyra. 100%. She's about as scrappy as they come, right?
Can't get the ball through her.
You can't. And like her ability to like just like abort the kitchen line, scoot back, drive, get one down, and then close back in.
I feel like
she's a freaking athlete.
We were talking about her dinking. Like, even just from my level of a spectator, like, looks kind of suspect, but it's almost like she's just daring you to, like, come at me. Like, I don't know.
Well, how many times is she's not purposely popping up a dink, but she pops up a dink. She's got heavy hands, and I feel like one of the few girls that can kind of get away with maybe her dinking technique isn't very technically sound, but she tends to kind of pop up some dinks, and she can clean up her mess just by, like, the sheer power of her hands.
100%.
But no, she's a beast. Let's see, men's doubles. Fed with draws. Riley and Matt had this whole build-up. Didn't see a whole lot that took place from that team. I know they ended up winning a tight 3-gamer.
Against Julian and Hunter. I think.
Yeah, against Julian and Hunter. Yeah, there was some drama in that one. And then just got completely steamrolled. Sorry, Ryan, Matt, by Hayden and Benny. And K-Mac, tell me, what do you think about Ryan, Matt? Do you think they can still produce results?
I mean, like you guys mentioned, the depth in men's is just crazy now. It's at another level. So I think they're in that, round of 16 conversation where there's just a lot of good teams, in that range. But I think the idea that like they're going to go back and see similar success to what they had, a couple years ago when they played it's just a different game now. I do think they have somewhat of a complementary style where Matt's ability to create his own offense can kind of make up for Riley's inability to do that at times, and Riley's athleticism can make up for, Matt's age and lack of movement a bit. So I think they'll be, in the conversation of teams that could make a run. I don't think they're winning titles anymore. I think that's kind of past. I just think the speed of the game, the depth of the game, just how athletic and young, how good some of these young guys are now, how developed their games are. I mean, I think they're maybe make a semi, if they get a good draw, but I don't see them pushing beyond that with where the game's at now.
For sure. Well, I think too, I know, I'm sure Matt will not listen to this podcast. But anytime that I play Matty, it just seems like when he's returning on the left, I kind of purposely serve out wide, almost kind of like a mixed serve. And just with his age, it seems like he has a hard time kind of getting over to the right side. So it seems like the play, generally is serve wide and then kind of drive to the open court. And then just like how how that plays enhanced now with paddle technology, or if you're playing in like colder climates, or if you're playing with like higher elevation, you can really, get away with kind of, blind tactics and simply, kind of using like the serve and the drive. And the crazy thing about Matt is that the guy is 45, and he's been playing with that Onyx paddle for how long? It's 10 millimeters. It's like a slice of paper. Thing's got no feel. The hitting zone is about the size of a grape. I've never seen the man bend his knees. He's got sick feel. He's 45. He's got heavy hands, and he's still doing it at this level.
For sure.
This guy's a stud.
100%.
Guy's a stud. Let's see here. So Ben and Hayden, new partnership. Obviously, they met the Romanian Nightmare and Christian and ruined their day. Dun dun dun. K-Mac, tell me, did you watch the Rafa and Jay match and all that nonsense?
I didn't watch the match. I watched the clip of them going back and forth, a little bit
on memes.
No, it's just tough. I mean, we know Rafa well. He gets into this gamer warrior mode where, he's a tough person to get along with at times, right? And, there's a lot of people that call the lines pretty tight, but when Rafa's in that mode, he's probably in that category. I don't know. They were Jay hit an ATP, and from the camera angle I had, I couldn't tell if it was in or out. But
right,
normally,
it's tough.
When you're the one hitting the ATP, if you made it or not. You're right up the line. You can tell.
Right.
Rafa called it out.
You're right.
Jay quickly is like, no, you missed it. And then the ref on the other side actually sided with Jay and overruled it. So obviously that set Rafa off a little bit. The very next point, he just screams, "Ball don't lie."
Ball don't lie.
Right at the ref, right? And as the ref was, looking at him, he's like, "I can say that. I can say ball don't lie."
Right.
Rough. I mean, great run for him and Noe. I mean, that's a couple tournaments in a row where they've had a good run,
sure.
made the semis. It's tough at this level. I mean, you guys making your own line calls when there's a lot on the line, like this is kind of unique to sports in general, right? I don't know how much longer that's going to continue, but we will continue to have drama and fun storylines as it continues.
And Jay tried to nasty Nelson Rafa at 10-9, 10-9-2 game one.
Oh yeah. Little revenge.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was plenty of back and forth taking place, and it seemed like there was a massive crowd watching that nonsense transpire.
The crowd loves it.
Right. The crowd loves it.
I don't know, for me, I'm like, I don't know. I get so comfortable when it gets a little. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I remember it's kind of back to the days. No shade against Kyle Yates, but like back in the day, same thing. When I was like new to pickleball, and I would see like refs getting ripped up or like certain things, and obviously I think Kyle's toned way down now, and it like has kind of changed his tune, but I don't know what that is. I guess I wasn't exposed to that in other sports. But
I've done plenty of that
just
too, and I have no
it's a little little uncomfortable. And it's same. Yeah, if Tyson starts heading down that road, I'm quick to say like, she
usually does this.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no more, or keep playing, or shut up, be quiet.
Shut up, you bozo.
You're making your bed. I don't know why. It's so funny too. Like I get it, obviously, like with blatant bad calls or something like that, it's worth like stating your case with the ref, but sometimes I'm like, you guys, you really think you're going to accomplish anything by just ripping up this ref right now, and that there's not going to be some sort of repercussion? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I guess in the moment,
Andre saw me act like a child at Masters. We ended up going 3-0 in pool play, right? A couple boys in their 30s getting it done.
Fed and Hayden.
Beat Fed and Hayden late night. Got a nice little chest pump in after that match. And then, Andre, tell me, am I your first when it comes to winning a match 0-0?
Golden Pickle.
No, I've had one actually.
Oh, don't tell me that.
But it definitely was. I mean, you wouldn't expect that at the tour finals, and it was totally unexpected. It was totally out of nowhere. But like you said, just happy to get the job done with a fellow 30-plus-year-old.
That's right, baby. That's right. Couple dogs out there eating,
Old
always
dogs.
hungry. Anyhow, so I acted like a child in that semis match against Tardio and J-Dub, and I'm not gonna lie, Andre and I kind of got ran over. But the ref called me for my serve. Don't know who that guy. I know who the guy is. I don't know his name, but it just seems like he's always all over me. Called me for my serve. I was joking around and hit a ball at him in a very soft,
Don't do
nice
that
manner.
anymore.
And then I don't know, said some things under my breath that I have no business saying. But it's not worth it, right? Focus on you out there.
It's not worth it. It doesn't accomplish anything.
And then so all Sean and Andre toughed it out, got it done. K-Mac, just give us your insight on the 3-game match against Ben and Hayden, and then how they just got the job done, and I thought played super well and kind of ate up Tardio and J-Dub.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the match from start to finish, especially in the semis, I mean, Andre and Christian, they were just the better team, right? They come out, win game 1. Probably should have had game 2. I mean, credit for Ben and Hayden of
game 2,
playing big and just kind of free in the big moments there. But that's what impresses me about Andre and this team specifically is, it'd be easy to kind of fold and go, oh, here we go, Ben's coming, going into game 3 after what happened in game 2. But they centered themselves. Their body language looked pretty good, even after losing that. And they come out and just absolutely rolled in that 3rd game. So, I mean, they were really the better team to me from start to finish. They deserved to win that one. Great poise. And then, it's kind of more of the same in the finals. I mean, you wonder with J-Dub and Gabe, I know they're friends, but is there a little bit of awkwardness where J-Dub and Gabe were supposed to play the year together, and then Gabe gets this option to play with Ben and then flip-flops a little bit? Right. You did start to see, at least for me, maybe a little bit of the lack of offense in J-Dub's game, on the left side. It hadn't really been an issue a year ago, but the trend of the direction the game's going, you wonder if J-Dub needs to take a little bit more risk on that side. But it just seems like they were in control of the final as well.
Yeah. And Andre, tell me, what percentage of your points do you think you and Christian won by just a simple drive and crash?
It's hard to put a number on it. It was definitely.
I thought it was 20-25%. I mean,
part of the fact
decent amount.
Look, at our level, you always try to put pressure on teams unwinding the stack. Right. The fact that we're playing high altitude, it helps make it even faster. So we were definitely going in trying to put a lot of pressure on them when they're unwinding the stack. We knew obviously Gabe can play both sides very well. J-Dub is obviously extremely good on the left, but that didn't really see much play on the right. So we were trying to pressure them as much as we can and maybe not switching, which they did a couple of times. And then just when they were switching, we're trying to make that as difficult as possible. So even though I watched the tape a couple of times, I don't really know the number, but we definitely had some good success. Look, a lot of that goes to Christian. He's just so fast and strong.
Big in the middle.
I hit a good setup shot over there that gets the ball fairly high for him. Doesn't matter if it's fast or not on the next one. He's really good at just imposing his will after that around the kitchen.
Yeah.
I think what impressed me about Christian too is, so he's disconnecting that much from the right side, not the left, which is a little tougher to do. And even when Andre's drive wasn't super low, when it was a little bit high, I think this is an underrated skill set as a poacher of just being able to take balls off your ankles and extend the play. Obviously, you can't do much with that, but his ability to just consistently get tough shots back, is separate from the poach, that works, right? Just his ability to be scrappy, be athletic, extend points even when he's behind. You could see how in both matches that made the other team uncomfortable.
For sure.
100%.
Okay, so let's see here. Dre, tell us how you juggle family life, being an awesome husband and a father of 2, and I guess how you juggle, family life and athlete life.
Well, I'm super lucky to have an awesome wife at home.
Find a good female and hang on to him.
100%. Because I'm obviously on the road probably 30 plus weeks a year, and my kids are 5.5 and 4, so they're still pretty young, not fully compliant as you would expect. So it's very hard for my wife, when I'm when I'm going to tournaments and all that to kind of be on top of it every single day. When I am home, I try to do the best I can to be super involved with the kids. So I try to take them to school. I try to pick them up from school. I try to spend as much time as I can with them before school, at breakfast. After school, we go out. Both of them kind of discovered a little passion for pickleball lately. Okay. So they've asked me to go out and play, which I know pushed on them, and I'm very happy to do that. So I take them out and play some pickleball. My older daughter likes to play some golf as well. So in the weekends, sometimes we go to the range, take a couple of lessons. Unfortunately, my golf game is absolutely terrible, so I try to stay away from that. Right. I would love to be a little bit better, but I'm kind of like a Charles Barkley over there. So
right.
Yeah, so,
it's got a hitch.
So I stay out of that, but I enjoy spending the time with them. So when I'm home, I try to make the most of it, and then when I'm away, like I said, my wife is just a legend when it comes to parenting. She does so many good things for our family and for them, and that's kind of how I balance it out. It's not easy. Obviously, being on the road, it's not easy. They will be coming with me to the PPA in Cape Coral, which is nice. Everything that's close enough here in Florida or maybe Atlanta, like a short straight flight, they'll come with me. But outside of that, it's not easy. It's definitely challenging, and I'm sure Meg knows about it as well.
K-Mac, tell me how you juggle, pickle traveling life and taking care of that family.
Yeah, I mean, I think as more cool opportunities have presented themselves, like with MLP coaching, camps and all that, I realized I didn't need to do a lot of privates at home. And at first you kind of feel guilty turning down a lesson, especially with me not playing that much. Like coaching's all I do, teaching's all I do. So it felt weird to say, I'm not available for this lesson or that lesson back home. But honestly, for family life balance, that's been huge for me in the last, 6 months to a year of being home completely when I'm home, and just kind of like Andrei, like I'm trying to be as involved with what's going on with the kids. I've been able to work with my son, who loves pickleball, and really try to train him a little bit more in the last few months. And it's really, really helped just kind of learning to say no. At first, when you're going to teach pickleball for a living, you've got a family, you're not saying no to anything, right? Any opportunity, you're like, yep, I can do that.
Right.
I can do that.
But bring it in.
Fortunately for me, I've got enough good things going on where I can pick and choose a little bit more. And it's been a very necessary balance. I'm not playing like you guys are, but I have been on the road a similar amount, maybe not quite as much. And it definitely can take a toll.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, and I think if I can chime in on that too, like you guys, I think obviously and Tyson says it all the time. He's like got this like guilt hanging on him all the time. Like, oh man, like I just feel so guilty for not being home or not being with the kids, or I feel like I'm not being the parent I should be, and all of that. But I think something too you guys have to remind yourselves, and maybe you do, but is that when you do spend time, like you said, when you guys go home or you are with them, you're there like the whole time, right? You're 24/7.
Full quality time.
It's full quality time. And so I think in terms of that too, it kind of makes up in a way. Like, you might have, a dad that's home every night, but works the 9 to 5 or has to work late or whatever, you know what I mean? And I think it evens out for sure. So I tell Tyson all the time, don't beat yourself up, because I think it's just a different blueprint, right? And it's not one that many people do. And that's what's, I think, a little tricky about it. And I think too, as an athlete, I know you say it a lot, like you kind of have to be a little selfish in your training and right. like your time spend. But also too, I think of it like, yes, you're gone all day, training, practicing, all of that. But in the evenings, we spend time together and that sort of thing, or vice versa. But for us, for sure, like we're going to try to take the kids on the road as long as we can. And we're fortunate to do that, but it's tough. I mean, it's even tough doing that. There are definitely times like going to Australia where not bringing the kids is so much simpler. And it is less complicated for sure. But
Baby number 5.
Yeah, no way.
Come on.
Mama, run away.
They're coming.
No. I could not. But yeah, I just think, if there's one thing I could preach for everybody is like, there's just just not one way. It's like whatever works best for your family, and it might change, you know. But yeah, it's a different blueprint. But always fun, Andrei, when we do see your wife and the kiddos on tour, and you could just tell how happy they are and happy to be there, and
happy little fam.
and enjoy you being on tour and out performing. So so cool to
No,
see
I'm
for sure.
enjoying having them over there as well.
That's so cool.
It's fun to have them with me, but
yeah,
because they're so young, it's still hard to bring them along for too many tournaments. And I do have two kids that are not the most competitive. I have a ton of energy, so it's hard for my wife to be there because she doesn't, even though they come out there, she kind of has to watch them as opposed to watching me play and all that. So
100%. Totally.
Yeah, I feel like I just try to be a total yes guy when it comes to like yes guy on the family side, yes guy on the athlete side. Like when it comes to taking the kids to school, picking them up, cooking dinner. Ty loves to like build these Lego sets or like these car Lego sets. Do that. Banks likes to watch princess movies, so I'll lay in bed with her and get some cuddles in. So funny with
best time of the day.
Oh man, right. I feel like just with daughters in general, like they're soft and cuddly. With boys, it's totally different. Like I would never watch a movie with Mac, nor could Mac actually make it past 30 minutes of a movie.
It's a nightmare.
The guy is just such a spaz. But anyhow, when it comes to being a yes guy, I just think, having a good happy medium and being a yes guy is like an athlete too. Like waking up early, contrast therapy, practice, yoga, working out, all that. So and for the sake of Valentine's Day, I think one common goal that we all, or one common thing that we all have, is that we all have good females, right? That freaking take care of us, right?
Gotta have that rock.
Gotta have that rock. Gotta have that rock, man.
Must have.
Andrei, so with being 36, pushing 37, but still looking like a young stallion. How do you take care of that big old body?
Look, I need a lot more recovery work these days than I used to in the past.
Same here.
You're laughing because you know it. I used to kind of push your body really hard one day and maybe stretch once at night and then wake up the next day and start all over and feel fine. It's definitely not the case anymore. So just definitely being a little bit more, listening a little more to my body for sure, being a little more careful with the amount of training that I do, with the amount of fitness that I do. It's not like I'm lazy if I just take it easy certain days, and it's one of those things where I just have to listen to my body, understand how far I can push it, and I've been pretty good at doing that. I've been taking on this ice baths, which I hate with a passion. But
get in there, big dog.
That we did a couple of ice baths.
Oh yeah.
At MLP
together, of course.
Well,
right. Hey,
for the purpose of the fans understand.
Yeah, right. Hey,
we did it together behind the curtain, but
the clothing is optional.
Separate bathtubs, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did a little skiing in there.
Stretching, I've always stretched a lot. I've had some back issues when I was younger with tennis, and obviously pickleball. There's a lot of bending and twisting, so I stretch. I try to stretch about 3-4 times a day. I do some physical therapy when I'm home. I use the trainer at tournaments. Hydration, I think, is extremely important. And luckily, with my metabolism, eat as much as I can, whatever I want.
Eats like a horse.
So.
Eats like a horse.
Tardio's the only one that eats more. No, just kidding.
Right.
Tardio eats so much.
Tardio eats like shit.
4 solid meals.
So funny. Love it. K-Mac, give me your thoughts on the recent MLP trades, because I'll tell you what, it's been active. I thought I was gonna get to play with the Romanian Nightmare, but next thing I know, this guy gets traded.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, that was the main one. I was all excited to get on the pod, with you guys, newly teammates, is what I was expecting to be the vibe here. And I was like, well, that trade kind of makes sense. You guys obviously get along. I think that the way that you guys compete, you guys, make a really tough out, especially MLP style format, your team leaders. But yeah, I think what we've seen, a little bit of a trend with trades is, not all teams are wanting to necessarily pay that price tag for high draft picks, going forward. Some are, some aren't. And it's tough to know of the trades. Are they trading someone and then still going to drop them? Are they trading someone to keep them? I think, honestly, Columbus is looking dangerous with Andrei and Klinger with his upside. Obviously, righty lefty team gives them some options.
You got Paris and who else?
Callie, I think Callie Smith. So they're still going to have to drop somebody. I imagine it's going to be one of the girls, and then they'll pick one more up. But with some of the trades, it's tough to read because it's like, well, are they making that trade simply to then drop who they just got, so we don't know exactly how it's going to look? But I think a pretty safe bet is if you paid money to get a player, then you're going to be keeping them and not dropping them. So that was the main trade that stood out to me. I know there were a couple of trades on the challenger level, but that was kind of the one that was a little bit surprising, not going to lie. I really thought, especially with the Proton connection, that Andrei was going to stay with Phoenix there. But again, teams are making moves, and like we've talked about, some teams are really going with the strategy of, we want to win. We want to invest in being one of the elite franchises of MLP, and we think that if we're one of the best teams, then that'll be the best investment, long term. Other teams, I feel like, are like, well, we want to invest just in pickleball. We're not as worried about winning right now, but we want to, have a franchise. As pickleball grows, as the league grows, we'll be fine. We'll be taken care of. So I think there's a couple of different strategies that we're seeing among ownership groups, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
So that's an interesting point you brought up. So a trade does not count as your drop.
Right. Yeah, you can trade, receive someone, and then still drop them. But you are required, unless they've made last-minute rule changes that I haven't heard of, you are still required to drop someone.
If you trade someone, that doesn't count as your
Correct.
drop. So you still have to drop someone.
Correct.
Got it.
Someone.
Interesting.
Correct.
And is that coming up soon? Or is there really no deadline for
I believe the drop deadline, I believe, is the 16th of this month. So very, very soon. And then the redraft or to pick up the available player pool is March 2nd.
Got it.
Crazy. Okay. And have you you think many teams have looked at adding which additional players they're looking to add to round out a 6-person team? Like, has anybody announced their 5th and 6th, or probably wait until the drops? That's probably.
Well, I think they're going to be, picked up through the available player pool. So it's going to be kind of a bidding style for your 4th, 5th, and 6th player.
Got it. Interesting. Cool. Huh.
I actually just looked at my phone for a sec. Big news this morning: Will Howe is now eligible to compete in the upcoming MLP season. So,
okay, that is big news.
Does that mean that he got a PPA contract?
So he must have signed, yeah. Which is interesting because I think there were some talks or some announcements that he had signed with a outside tour. So
PWR.
Yeah, interesting.
Slinging around that.
Not anymore,
those
maybe.
Big bucks over there.
Yeah, crazy.
Don't know if it's real, but dun dun dun. Okay, let's see. I was gonna say something. Max Freeman, guy's a stud. He has no business at all playing PWR. I personally think he's no discredit to all the stud lefties out there, but I personally think he's the best lefty. And I don't know, it's just crazy to think that. It's wild to think that a guy that was playing with Ben this year, he had a couple with Ben, I had 4 with him, and I don't know, it's just kind of wild to think that like a guy that's playing with Ben, and Ben is very invested in the PPA, it did not get a contract. Kind of wild. Or maybe he did. Max just
chose not to, or
didn't like
maybe
the figure.
something's still in the works. But yeah, I thought it was interesting too. I heard that there's 12 new contract players. So now the draws are bigger. So now you guys on all progressives, it sounds like everybody, it was pretty close to that anyways, but everybody will play mixed on Tuesday. And now also the men's draw is now 64. So singles will also start on Tuesday on progressive draws.
Hey,
so
make it longer.
Little changes.
Grind it out.
Grind it out.
Make it deeper, get it deeper. But I did hear that if you are a top player, I believe, you cannot quali. So you cannot play qualies.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So kind of an interesting dynamic that's causing.
So funny story, but not. So when I got dropped by Orlando, so I got a call from Ryan.
Traded.
Right.
Yeah.
Ryan is the owner of the team. Because Andre played for the Squeeze.
Yeah.
Ryan is by
Right
far the
guy.
nicest guy. The Squeeze organization totally took care of me. Andre knows, like, best hospitality, super supportive with all the players.
Jeff.
Amin, Jeff,
Olivia,
they're all freaking
amazing.
boys.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so Ryan is the GM of the Orlando Magic, the NBA team. And so, I don't know, a couple weeks prior, we were talking about, like, what girl we should bring on the team, right? So I was giving all my input and stuff. And and so when Ryan told me that he, wanted to chat, I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet, man, for sure. So,
Get the axe.
right. So we get on the phone. And this was like a day after Luka got traded from the Mavericks to the Lakers, right? So I'm like, Ryan, this is crazy, man. Like all these super teams and all these trades, and I just can't believe it. And then Ryan got talking about the Magic and how they're not having a great season this year. And then he went on to saying that he loves me, and I kind of knew where it was going, right?
It's not me.
I had a general idea in that I exceeded all expectations. I was a great leader, but they're gonna have to trade me. And I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny because I was talking about like NBA trades and all these super teams, and then it. Come to find out, I got the hammer.
Dang.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe.
Oh.
Let's do
And K-Mac, you don't have to give me all the details, but so tell me, when you guys have made trades or dropped players, who has to make that phone call? Is that you?
No, it's actually not.
Sweet.
Which I went into it thinking it was going to be me, but we're kind of a unique dynamic where, I'm the coach, but we have a different GM, Josh Gartman. So, it's not a combined position for us. But then our owner is a stud. He has offered and wanted to be the one to make that call. I mean, at the end of the day, we're kind of advisors to him, Al, but he takes it on himself to communicate directly with the players. So
I think that's
it's one of those things. I thought it was going to be something I'd have to do, but
Right.
it's a tough call to make. I'm okay with not having to be that guy.
For sure.
Not upset about it.
Okay, well, I want to say thanks for coming on, Andrei, K-Mac. Appreciate you boys. And K-Mac.
Thanks for having us, Tyson.
Yes. And K-Mac, you have a camp coming up Monday, Tuesday in Mesa, correct?
Yeah. Have 3 weeks in a row with camps. So have Mesa coming up right after the tournament, and then Houston the following week, I believe, and then Punta Gorda after that.
Like it. So you guys can get signed up by going to TysonMcGuffin.com.
Yeah, and Mesa is filling up fast, so I would definitely get on it if you want to be a part of that. But that'll be a fun one. It'll be Matt, Ethan, and Kyle all there. So best of all worlds, and it should be
Dream team.
a good camp for sure.
And Andrei has taught his whole life. And Andrei, you were USPTA certified, correct? You were a
Yes.
USPTA guy?
It's RSPA now, Racket Sports Professional Association.
Yeah.
They, recognize that, that the industry is expanding, so they're into padel now, they're into pickleball. So I'm definitely working closely with them, trying to help them out and guiding them in the right direction with pickleball.
That's cool.
Pretty heavily involved in the process. I still spend a lot of time, obviously, playing and training and all that. So I cannot dedicate myself full time, but it's a great organization. I've been with them for about 15 years. I'm trying to find the right people to help them join them. So
Cool.
Happy to be an ambassador for them. Happy to help them expand into this great game of pickleball, and I think it's a win-win partnership for everybody.
Yeah, and I've taught with Andrei. He's taught some camp for us, and
Definitely done some camps with you guys.
Yeah, he definitely has. Dre. I think the last one was in Nashville, and it was hotter than snot. Was that 2 years ago?
Anyhow,
Anyhow,
I have to go wake up Ethan.
right. Get up, okay? Quit messing around with your host.
Wake up.
I'm just kidding. Stay off of her, okay? Anyhow, I have taught with a lot of very educated pros, and I would say in the top 3 category is definitely Kyle and Andrei. So appreciate you boys, and
Thank you.
always
Thank you.
love
Thank you.
anytime I can get on the court with you guys and get some teaching done. So, okay, my name is Tyson McGuffin. We will see you guys next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and take care. Thanks, boys.
Bye.
See you, boys.
Thank you, Tyson.